Welcome to this Hatha Yoga class to heal the wounded masculine emotions. Remember, we all have the masculine and feminine within us. And so this is for the imbalance of the wounded masculine emotions in all of us, whether you're male, female, however you identify. This is for all of us. This class is part of a larger series, so be sure to subscribe so that you get the whole series. The classes that came before and the classes that came after. We're going to begin this class by resting back on your backs to arrive here now. So you can go ahead and lie down on your back with your knees bent and feet flat on the floor. Take a deep breath in through your nose and let it fall out of your mouth. So feel the support of the earth and let your body rest into it. Connect with your breathing. And feel your body. So regardless of our gender, we all have masculine and feminine energy within us. The masculine and feminine energies within us create polarity. And when they're in balance and harmony, we feel better. Throughout this series, we'll bring the unhealthy and wounded aspects of our masculine and feminine sides out of the shadows. The wounded masculine and feminine from our ego, fear, and darkness cause us to suffer. And when we bring the light of awareness to the shadow states and sides of our masculine and feminine wounding, we can heal and transform in healthy ways and connect with our divine energy. So go ahead and we might just pause on setting an intention until you hear a little bit more about the wounded masculine around emotions. And you're going to need a couple of blocks and a folded blanket for this class. For the first pose, you're going to take one of those blocks and you're going to place it between your knees. So we're going to be creating a lot of stability and strength in this class. So feeling the support of your feet in the ground, pressing into the feet with the block between your legs and pressing up into bridge pose. So just feeling that support through the earth, feeling the support of your structure. And then you're going to slowly lower down, and you can release the block from between your knees, lower it down, and hug your knees into your chest. If you have knee issues, you're going to hold on behind your knees and just release your low back. You can sway from side to side if you want, or just be still here. So in our wounded state, we can get triggered by outside experiences or a person. And in our wounded masculine, we might be feeling competitive or controlling or aggressive. We might withdraw or be intimidating or defensive. And our more feminine side, we might get caught up in the hustle culture. Women might get more burned out. We talked a lot about that last week in the Yoga Nidra, if you haven't done that class yet. So those are some of the things where we might be imbalanced in our emotions when we get emotionally triggered. Okay, so from here you're going to roll to your side and you're going to come up onto all fours. You might want to take those blocks and put them at the top of your mat here. And we're going to come into a lunge pose. So you may want more padding on your blanket depending on how thick your blanket is, or if you're on carpet in your home or not. Okay, so you're going to place your right knee on the blanket, step your left leg through, and you can place your hands on your block, tuck your pelvis under, open up through your front right hip here. So on a continuum, our wounded emotions could be considered toxic on the one side, and then they could be healed or more balanced all the way on the other side. So that could be the continuum of emotions that we're dealing with. Okay, we're going to switch sides. So you're going to step your right leg through, and you're going to tip your pelvis forward, open up through the front left hip. So when we heal our emotional wounds and our traumas, we're able to be present and compassionate with ourselves and others in difficult and triggering situations. So from here, we're going to make our way up to standing. You can come through downward facing dog, or you could come from a squat pose up to standing, your choice. Okay, we're going to start by coming into Tadasana. Take your feet underneath your hip bones, spread your toes, bring your pelvis into alignment, bring your ribs over your pelvis, roll your shoulders back and down, bring your ears over your shoulders, slight bend in your knees. So the divine masculine, the balanced masculine, we all have a masculine within us supporting us, is supportive, is strong, is focused, holds space, is resilient, protects the boundaries, lets go of judgment, and is centered. And so we can feel that in our Tadasana here. So when we have that inner masculine holding the space, the support, the balance, the centeredness, it really helps us with our emotional landscape. Let's come from here into tree pose. Standing on one leg, you keep toes on the ground, above or below the knee. Focusing on something that is not moving. Your hands can come to your heart center, or you can bring them overhead. And feel that support, feel that emotional balance, feeling that inner support, feeling that centeredness, feeling that groundedness that the inner masculine brings to the emotional landscape. Then we're going to go ahead and let this out of our body. And between sides, we'll just roll your pelvis over your leg bones and come into a standing forward fold. And then you're going to roll all the way back up. We'll come back into the tree pose on the other side and feel that sense of being supported, present, and focused on the other side. And then you can let this out of your body, and we'll come up to the top of your mat for warrior one. Take a step back with your right foot. And you're going to have your hips facing forward, bring your arms up. We can think about the inner masculine, the divine masculine being like the space holder for the emotions. So the emotions can have space to freely express themselves. And then release that from your body and step forward, coming into that standing forward fold again. And rolling all the way up, we're going to come again into the warrior one on the other side, stepping back and reaching up, opening up. So you've got that strong and steady base, so the holding the space so that there can be the freedom for that emotional expression. And then stepping forward again and rolling your pelvis over your leg bones for that standing forward fold, releasing and letting go. And coming all the way down onto your bellies, we'll come into a Cobra pose here. Okay, when you come onto your belly, just rock your hips from side to side to release your low back. You might even want to reach back through your heels with your knees lifted just to create some more space in your low back here. Roll your shoulders back and down. Place your hands underneath your shoulders, and you're just going to gently lift up through your back, opening honestly with yourself. So you can also come onto your forearms as well into Sphinx instead of Cobra. Whatever is going to work best for you in your body today. Opening in a kind and compassionate way about where you are in your life right now. So this is, a part of being in our masculine is opening in a way that protects our boundaries, in a way that's centered, opening a way that's kind and compassionate. And then you're going to lower all the way down. And from that lowered position, you're going to come back and either come into child's pose or knees to chest pose just to release your low back. And then you're going to roll up and come up to a seated position. This is where you're going to probably need your folded blanket. So you're going to take your folded blanket and place it underneath your buttocks. And you're going to sit up on it. And the masculine is more rigid. The feminine is more flowy. So here we're going to come into staff pose. You're going to use your hands behind you just to lengthen up and create some structure, it's like an L shape here. So you'll be able to so look at my left hand here and you just create a post for yourself so that you're really strong in your torso, through your legs, draw your heels back. And you can see how you create this structure, these boundaries. And this is really important with emotions. You may choose to, create these emotional boundaries, these boundaries where you might not enter into certain relationships or choose to have times where, for example, not have a meltdown at work or in public settings, right? Just to create some dignity and safety for yourself, for example. So this is where our inner masculine really can come online and create some protection for us. And this is normal and healthy. And then you can release that. You'll draw your left leg in and wrap your right arm around your left leg, turn towards it. So we come into the twist. And then come back to the center. And we're going to hinge forward. So we come into a forward fold in the center. And then you can come up and we'll do the twist on the other side. Draw your right leg in, wrap your left arm around your right leg and turn towards it so you come into the twist on the other side. And then come back to the center. We're going to come back to that seated forward fold again, rolling over your pelvis, rolling your pelvis over your leg bones, feeling that lengthening along the backs of your legs. If you have low back issues, you might want to take bent knees here instead. And then you can release that from your body. You're going to come up, put your blanket off to the side, or you can pull it up over top of you and go ahead and rest back for Savasana. You can take Savasana with your knees bent or your legs out long, whatever feels best for you. Tuck your shoulder blades underneath you. Just give your body a chance to settle in to receive your practice. Receiving it physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically, spiritually. You can rest back here, and I'm going to sit up and read you a poem. This poem is called Witness by Denise Levertov. Sometimes the mountain is hidden from me in veils of cloud. Sometimes the mountain is hidden from me in veils of cloud. Sometimes I am hidden from the mountain in veils of inattention. Sometimes I am hidden from the mountain in veils of inattention, apathy, and fatigue. When I forget or refuse to go down to the shore or a few yards up the road on a clear day to reconfirm that witnessing presence. Sometimes the mountain is hidden from me in veils of cloud. Sometimes I am hidden from the mountain in veils of inattention, apathy, fatigue, when I forget or refuse to go down to the shore or a few yards up the road on a clear day to reconfirm that witnessing presence. Thank you so much for joining me for this class for the wounded masculine emotions. I love it so much if you would give it a thumbs up, subscribe to make sure you get the whole series, and put "I am protecting my emotional boundaries" in the comments. I look forward to hearing from you, and we'll see you next week.